Welcome everyone. To allow some people to join, we'll just hang on for a minute or two. I think we can start the webinar. Welcome to the Wednesday webinar by PDSVISION. Today we will be talking about the Internet of Things and specifically about myPDS IoT Ramp offering. My name is Duan Goucher and I will be presenting today. In this webinar, we will go through a quick overview of PDSVISION. I will also give you a glimpse of the apps under the myPDS umbrella. There's a suite of applications there. Then I will introduce you to our latest addition to the myPDS apps called IoT Ramp. And I will look at how we use Ramp to create and configure a new digital twin. If you have any questions, please type them in the GoToMeeting under the questions section, and I will try and answer those for you at the end of the session. As I said, my name is Duan Goucher, and for PDSVISION Group, I support the IoT businesses across our different regions worldwide. I joined PDSVISION in 2020, and prior to that, I've had roughly about just short of 20 years of experience with PTC and their products. And the last 8 years, I have focused almost exclusively on Thingworx. While I wear many hats, I have very deep technical experience both in development and the implementation of Thingworx across a wide range of industries. PDSVISION is a global company that was established in 2008. We have operations in 12 countries, and we have deep technical experience in digital transformation. We are PTC's biggest partner globally, and we have a local presence in several locations in the US. Since 2008, we've grown significantly over the years, and we've made several acquisitions around the globe, including the UK and Germany. In North America, our recent acquisitions have been Boundary Systems, Sconce, and also the Boston Engineering Division focusing on PTC products. Over time, and while working with customers, we found areas where we've been able to create complementary solutions to the PTC tools. And our myPDS suite of applications have been designed to help our customers get the maximum out of their investment in PTC's technologies. Here we have some of our myPDS apps. If you're interested in learning more about any one of these, please reach out to us and we'll gladly share more information with you. I would, however, like to focus and take this opportunity to introduce you to the newest member of the myPDS apps. We call it myPDS IoT Ramp. Ramp is an add-on extension to the base Thingworx product from PTC. It is compatible with the latest versions of Thingworx, and it uses only standard functionality without creating any external dependencies or prerequisites. So you can really run it anywhere, on-site, on-premise, anywhere, and in the cloud. It includes the key functionality required to get you ramped up for your IoT journey, and it has a very quick 2-week quick start implementation that provides you with rapid time to value without imposing limitations on what you can and cannot do with a platform. There are, of course, many considerations when it comes to how you connect your equipment to Thingworx or to any IoT platform for that matter, and there can be a fair amount of complexity. We've understood those complexities and we've mapped a way for pretty much anyone to find a path to connect their equipment. So depending on where you are from a maturity perspective, what you have in place, we can guide you through that process. Once again, just reach out to us if you would like to engage on this topic as well. Fortunately, most roads lead to Kepware, and Kepware is, of course, a very powerful connection technology that we use to connect equipment to Thingworx. It's based on the always-on protocol, which includes the capability to indicate whether an asset is connected or disconnected. It also is able to store all data that is captured locally, so that when there is a disconnection, it is able then to, once reconnected, forward all that data to the platform so you don't lose any data while there is a connectivity issue. It also focuses on connecting outward from wherever it is, whether it's somewhere in a plant or whether it's in the field. So there are no incoming connections. From a security perspective, this, of course, is crucial. Kepware also has more than 150 drivers for different types of industrial connectivity protocols. So I think it's time to get our hands dirty, and let's move on to the actual IoT Ramp application. So this is my login screen. This is myPDS IoT Ramp, and I am just logging on to the system. So as this loads, this is my homepage that I land on, or the welcome page, and it has all the information that's probably most important to me. On the left-hand side, I have got my bookmarked equipment. I also have all the active alerts. I currently have 9 active alerts. They're all medium alerts. And essentially, it's just telling me that all these machines are disconnected currently. So let's have a quick look at the equipment that we have. On the left-hand side here, I've got various different machines. If we look at our little demo machine in the US in Cleveland, it is currently disconnected. It was previously connected, and I can see some details about this machine. So what we're going to do now is we are going to start by connecting a brand new machine. So it's as easy as click Setup Equipment, and I am presented with a wizard-like interface, which then allows me to pick my type of connection. In this case, I'm going to go with a Thingworx industrial thing or a Kepware type connection. I click Next, and I get to give my equipment a name. You are presented with some details around what you can and cannot do. And of course, when you do things which are bad, like give it wrong numbers or things at the start or invalid characters, you will be told so. I'm just going to call this webinar, and I'm then going to click Create Digital Twin. So what happens in the background is all the Thingworx entities are being created for me. I don't have to go and create those. All the necessary permissions are granted to those, and all the necessary configuration happens. I can now also go and click Download Configuration File. So this configuration file is my Kepware configuration file, and now it is waiting for a connection. So you can see it's not connected yet. So it's time for me to hop into Kepware. As I mentioned, Kepware is our industrial connectivity tool. I don't have anything configured right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, let's open that file that I have downloaded. That is the webinar file over there. And it asks me whether I would like to update my connection. So if we have a look here at the logs, currently it's still disconnected. And shortly we should see that my Kepware has now established a connection with Ramp. And there we go, we are connected. I can now click on Finish. So the very first step is completed now. We have a new piece of equipment connected to Thingworx. But let's quickly go back to Kepware and allow me to show you what we have. We have an Allen Bradley PLC channel configured over here. With the Allen Bradley ControlLogix driver. I also have a specific device configured here, in this case it's factory 4. And I'm unfortunately not physically connected to this PLC. So if we look at the data from this PLC, we will see that the quality is bad. So there's no incoming data from this machine. So moving back to Thingworx, although the machine is connected, there will not be any data that is coming in here. I can start setting up the machine right now. I can start setting up things like my tags. Tags are, of course, what we call the individual data items that come from Kepware. So here you can see there's my channel. So it's the Allen Bradley controller for Factory 4, which is essentially exactly the same as you've got there. And if I click link tags, what this will do is we'll go to Kepware, query the available tags, and then add them to Thingworx for me. So all of that is done. So it's exactly these same things here. Equipment state, you will see, is equipment state over here as well. So those have been added for me. I can now go back to my summary or overview of my equipment, and I can start adding and populating my user interface with data. To make this slightly more interesting, and because we're not going to get any live data from this machine because it's not connected, I am actually going to go and configure my simulator, which is also in Kepware, and makes use of the simulation capabilities in Kepware. So I'm going to load my simulation driver. I am going to update my Kepware. And in the logs, we should see I am connected to Thingworx. There we go. I am connected. And then, of course, my simulator has turned green here as well. So let us start by looking at all our equipment. I can see I have a whole host of machines connected and wherever they are. So this one is the one that I have just, this is my simulator. I've just connected, and it is currently in the middle of nowhere. So let's start by going to settings and configuring this. I can, of course, rename this. We'll say simulator webinar and save that. And then in terms of configuring where this is in the world, I am in South Africa. So I'm just going to double click and update the location there. Of course, if I had a GPS feed from my equipment, I would connect that to the location, and that will then always be updated with the current location. I also have my connectivity details here. If for some reason I need to go and reconfigure Kepware, I have all the data here that I need, and I can copy and just paste that directly into Kepware. So this is super handy. I also have a host of plugins. They have been added and configured here, but those are plugins that we use, for example, to show trends and configure units of measure. Speaking of units of measure, I have them here, and I can go and essentially assign for like speed. I can assign ISO speed as the unit of measure there. So this is how we utilize units of measure. So let's go quickly back to our summary page. Now you will see I have my equipment location configured here. I can also add a nice image for my equipment. So let's quickly do that. Find a nice image to load there. Of course, you can load whatever image works for your equipment, and you will see your image appear there. So let's add some data indicators to our machine. Let's start with looking for, let's say, customer name. Let's add that. Let's also add our maintenance plan active, our model type, and I'm just double clicking to add these. And I think we have a warranty end date there. We also have, let's say, our PV, which is our process value, short for process value, PV. We have a randomizer that we can add, set point, and speed. Let's add that. And let's also add our part counter. Where is my part counter? And bad parts. So now I've added a whole number of things here, and you can actually see for speed, I've added that unit of measure. It's also configured for process value, so you can see the units of measure are actually added to my user interface. I can also add some details here. So operating mode will allow me to see the equipment utilization. So I can see what my machine has been doing for the last 14 days. Let's also add some key trends. So I think so PV would be interesting. And I think set point, those should give us a good graph. And then we can use the same data point that we used for utilization. We can add here for state. So we can see a little bit more about that. And I think that's operating mode. And that will load. And then let's go to trends. So trends is a very handy tool to just get a sense of what's happening with your data. I can go to my properties, and here you will see I have all the various different properties or tags that's associated with my machine. So just back at summary, you can see I've now just used the process value and the set point, and you can see my equipment state and its history there. But let's have a look at the actual data that is in Kepware. So I have this Quick Connect client in Kepware. And if I go to my channel and device, you will see these are the live data points which are updating. And these are also feeding into Thingworx in real time. So you can see my process value over there, that's updating. You can see the number of bad parts is currently at 12. And you can see, let's see, the speed at 23 and various others updating there as well. So this is feeding live into Thingworx. But for me to get a bit of a sense, it's easier if I look at trends and I go to my properties and let's select the process value. So what this does for me is it plots the process value over time, and then we can configure the time window. I also then have I think it's a set point. Let's add that. And we can see those. Now, the other thing we might want to do is we might want to look at things on a different scale. So if I then click on the right-hand side, I can see a completely different scale over here. That just makes it so much easier to visualize things. And of course, I can zoom and look at my data very easily here. We have filters, so I can change my date ranges. I can enable or disable interpolation if I wanted to have a slightly different view, and I can also change how the interpolation is configured with different statistical models behind that for that. And of course, everyone wants to export data, so I can just click export data, and we have that data available here, so I can load that into Excel or anything else. And of course, I do want to add my machine as a bookmark. So just clicking that star over there takes me to my bookmarks, or adds that machine to my bookmarks. So if we go back to the home page or my welcome page, I can now see here is my simulator, and it is connected. And we have most of this configured right now. And I might just want to make a last little thing. This might be a little bit overwhelming for me. So let's see if we can make a little bit more sense of this by structuring a few things. So let's say I'm going to add I'm going to add customer name as to a parent called general. I'm going to do the same for my maintenance plan active. I'm going to do the same for, I guess, let's say model type as well, and for warranty. And then let's create another parent. Let's call that machine data. And let's assign that to my process value, my randomizer, my set point, and my speed. And then lastly, let's just add, let's call it performance. And I'm going to add these to that as a parent. And then if I close, now you will see I have a slightly more structured view of my data indicators. And of course, these are all live and updating as the data streams into Thingworx. So this is a quick overview of the myPDS IoT Ramp application, a great way to get started on your IoT journey with all the necessary tools built in to get you going. So with that, I'm open to any questions. I'm not seeing any questions pop up in the GoToWebinar interface. If you do have questions, please reach out to us, and we'll schedule some time with you and review those. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for your time. My name is Duan Goucher. My email address is on the slide over there. You're welcome to reach out to me if you have any sales questions. We have sales at PDSVISION.us. And if you'd like to meet with us, we present events quite regularly. We've been at Thingworx, that was in May. You can also reach out to us on our website, PDSVISION.com. We have a YouTube channel, PDSVISION on YouTube, and we have hands-on experiences. There have been several of those, and if you'd like, you can try your hands at connecting your own equipment. So with that, we've reached the end of this webinar. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you.